decided the Port Adelaide Oval again for qualifying final. How different, how much better or otherwise are you this year?
I'm not too sure better, but maybe a little bit different. I think there was the one thing for sure is when we were clearly well beaten by them mid-year last year, it was a real line in the sand moment for us. I think we went away and reviewed hard. We got on top of a lot of things that, if anything, it was the spark that we needed to tidy a few things up. And I think the result later in the year in the final demonstrated that we were much more well prepared for that type of game. And I think this one's no different. We know a lot about the way they play. I think we're certainly in better form to be able to combat their control game. So, look, who knows? There's some fantastic teams at the top of the ladder at the moment and some great qualifiers.
You feel different also because you seem to have greater depth in the midfield this time?
Potentially. We have a lot of people go through that midfield, as you know, and what we have as a strength at the moment is the numbers that go through there are diverse in terms of their talents, what they bring, whether it's the size or whether it's their agility or their speed. We do have flexibility at our disposal now, and previously maybe that wasn't the case. So if we are different or we are better, it's probably because we've got some more flexibility.
You had to do it the hard way again against the Western Bulldogs. What is it that's going to make it clear? Because it's clear that there is a better game that Port Adelaide can play, but what's holding it back or what needs to happen to get there?
Yeah, the whole concept of us not being at our best or us having another gear to go to, I think when and I don't know this inside out, but if we've won 9 of our last 10 and we finished only a couple of points off top, and we've rarely conceded any more than 10 goals a game, and we're clearly doing a lot of things well. So, but I think it's a great thing that even internally we believe we have got more to give. We haven't played the perfect game, but we do feel like we're in some pretty good form right now, and it's the right time of the year to be feeling that way. So, again, like I said, it's a nice feeling to have people think that we've got another gear and we've got some more room to grow, but internally we're pretty comfortable with how we're tracking.
You didn't get a call on this. Pre-finals bye went away. Are you happy that you can just keep rolling because of the momentum you have, or would you like the extra break?
No, I think, again, I can't speak on behalf of everyone, but comfortably sitting with us right now in terms of we're not waiting for too many on our injury list. We think our game, whilst we didn't get it on our terms in the first 6 minutes in the one against the Dogs, we think our game's in pretty good shape. So, no, more than happy to just keep rolling.
Is it just simple one change this week, Horatio for Mitch, because that's what seems so simple and keeps everything as it is, or do you need to look at something else for Geelong?
Well, I think just pleasingly we've got some other people in, whether it be Boyd Woodcock or Horatio, who we know is proven at the level, or whether it's Tom Cleary or Sampad Pepper. So we've got some people at our disposal, which is a great thing for us. Keeps our list nice and sharp. Whether it be one change or no change, the obvious question is around Mitch Georgiadis and how his hamstring is. The reality there is that he'll get scanned this afternoon and we don't really know. The early indicators are that it's at the minor end and maybe doesn't miss any time at all.
Well, that would then test you further at selection too, wouldn't it?
Well, it would, but as I just mentioned, these are good problems. We're certainly not having to make it up. We've got guys pushing for spots and keeping us on edge. So it was an outstanding result at sample level for us over the weekend as well.
Tom Rockcliffe, when he retired, made mention of the final against Geelong last year that Port Adelaide found the right way to play Geelong. Is that still relevant?
Yeah, I think it is. I don't think their game's changed enormously. I think what they do is they play a really, really mature game. They've obviously got some wise heads in that team. They play a game that where they feel like they've got full control over how they attack and how they defend. So, look, they've been impressive for a number of years, not just right now. So, we've got a fair handle on it. Whether we've got the game to challenge them or not, we'll wait and see. But we thought we made the right changes last year for the final. We thought it felt about right. So I don't think it's changed too much since then.
Okay, I'll hand over to the others.
Monty, with Georgie's hamstring, just watching it on the coverage, you pull up in a full sprint type thing that looks up and down like it could, be 2 to 4 type thing. But are you surprised that it's seemingly on the minor end?
Yeah, probably a little bit surprised turning up today. But again, what this season's taught us is don't be too surprised. Preparation for players these days is a lot different to what it's been in the past, with fly in, fly out, and lounging around before a game for 5-6 hours. Not ideal. But really good news to walk in this morning and hear that at the very least it's at the minor end. So let's just scan it, let's get some clarity, and we'll go from there. But just the feeling that he's half a chance is definitely given us some energy this morning.
Hypothetically, if he was, sorry Hayes, if he was to miss hypothetically, what would you do if you wanted to bring in another tool? What sort of shuffle would that have to do for you guys if you wanted to keep another tall forward in there?
Yeah, to be honest, it's probably highly unlikely that we would break into a new profile or something that we hadn't tried in the past. So I can't imagine that it would be maintaining the tall setup. I think it would be the decision that would force us to do something different in terms of whether it's a ratio, or whether it's a woodcock, or whether it's a pow pepper.
And once you lived out of a suitcase this year, last year, effectively the other teams potentially have to go through this whole finals campaign playing away. How much of an advantage is it for Port Adelaide to be at home ground, and everything comes with it?
Oh, it's enormous. Taking all those things off the table, just to have our own people and to be able to share it with our people again is big enough, to be honest, Hazy. So, look, it has been a difficult year. It's been a difficult 2 years for all of us. I can't imagine the toll it takes on each individual club, but we know here that we've managed it really, really well. We've worked really hard to finish where we finished. We've taken some criticism throughout the year about not being at our best and having another gear to go to, as I've already mentioned. But the realities are we win more often than we lose. We finish really high, and we deserve to be where we are. And what that gives us is it gives us our people here, 15,000 people roughly at this stage, and we'll play for them and we'll play for all the people at home.
I think you might have touched on it before, but just another quick one. Fantasia, almost a lock to return?
Well, he's a lock to be available. But at this stage, as mentioned, we'll just wait and see what happens with George Yards' scan.
What are you expecting crowd-wise? Oh, sorry, Cammy. What are you expecting crowd-wise, Monty? 15 seems pretty much locked in?
Yeah, my understanding, briefed earlier, is that's where it sits. That's the extent of my knowledge, mate, on that one.
And the prospect of a few finals in Adelaide, not even just all the Adelaide teams? What does that sort of say about, I suppose, Adelaide Oval and the state of where we are at the moment?
Oh, there's no doubt that it's one of the best stadiums in the world. If that's the question, I think in this case we wouldn't have to look much further than the fact it's only an hour flight for those that select it, rather than the venue itself. I'd like to think that most teams fear playing Adelaide Oval, but that's another story.
Just further on the crowds, Brett, are you at a point where 15,000 is just a privilege now, or is there a little bit of disappointment there might not be more?
Look, I feel disappointed for any of our fans that can't come to our games, whether they get locked out of a 50,000 capacity or whether it's the format that will follow probably this week. What they have been is the people that do get in there have been enormous. The noise, the atmosphere, the energy, it's just been outstanding when we've been given that opportunity. But as I said earlier, we're not just playing for them, we're playing for all of our people. And we know we've got some people that are at home that would love to be there, so we'll be just making sure we're playing for everyone.
Can you make a pitch for us to host the Granny, Monty?
I can't make that pitch, but I mean, there is no better venue around the country for atmosphere. I mean, that to me, that's really obvious. Whether the capacity is enough to satisfy the people that make the decisions, well, that's a different story. But as a venue, you ask any player from any club, and they'll tell you the atmosphere at Adelaide Oval is a real highlight, career highlight.
Can I just ask one more for our news guys? A little bit left field, doesn't necessarily apply to you, but the two games in Tassie this weekend, what do you think when you see two finals in Tassie?
Oh, look, I do think deep down that it's enormous for our competition. You know, I know it's come at in some pretty strange circumstances, but to be given an opportunity like that as a state to host finals is a wonderful thing in trying times. Now, my understanding is it's in Launceston, which having played there and coached there, is an outstanding venue in itself. The surface is probably second to none. So, great win for their state. Not too concerned about it right now for us.